What up, everyone? Thank you so much, as always, for joining us. This is Miguel Antonio Barragan, aka Fight Fiend Miggs, joined as always by my co host, Andrew, don't get it twisted, Lapache. And this is the Mad Boxing Show, or Mad Boxing for short. Thank you once more for joining us on this lovely Thursday evening. It is now finally beginning to cool off over her. I was working up a sweat going down to the Fontaine Blue the last couple of days. If you guys remember, we're recording this show on a Thursday because we normally record on Wednesdays, but there were Canelo Crawford events for the public going on Tuesday and Wednesday. And I made sure to get down there to get some content. So went down there, sweating my freaking ass off, getting up on it. There's a bunch of people there, and it's still pretty toasty over here, but it is finally starting to cool down, thankfully. And it was at this Fontaine Blue or Fontaine Blue, however the hell you fucking pronounce it. I've been calling it Fountain for the longest time. Um, we are officially 24 hours away from the weigh-in that will be taking place tomorrow. I do also have the odds, of course, so if I can put them there. I will be making it to the T-Mobile Arena. I'm going to try to get there as early as possible. Granted, they're probably not going to allow me to go in with my tripod or my selfie stick or my microphone, but my phone is my phone, so I'm going to record whatever I can get for you guys to get some sort of footage. And of course, I'm going to get there as early as I can, because for those of you who don't know, more often than not, weigh-ins for that are open to the general public are first come, first serve. So the earlier you get there, the better seat you get. I definitely intend to do that tomorrow. So I have been posting a lot of shorts. If you guys have noticed, I went to the Grand Arrival. That was fucking bananas. The media workout, which is also open to the general public. It was in a different area of the Fontainebleau. So I'll try to get whatever I could. It sounds as though, or it seems as though you guys are enjoying these shorts, because they're been getting some pretty good solid, 1,000 here, 500 here views and whatnot. And, guys, we are officially 5 subscribers away from hitting that magical 100 subscribers. So thank you guys. Always appreciate that. We are only 5 away. So tell your friends, tell your mamas, tell everybody, hit that subscribe button. And of course, on this particular video, we want to hear your opinions on how this fight is going to turn out, because this is officially our Canelo versus Crawford prediction video that we're going to go into very, very many details. And we're going to not only give you guys our predictions, but I always say, when it comes to fights, even a game, right? You can always guess who will win, right? It's a 50-50 chance. We're talking about 2 entities here, 2 fighters, 2 teams, whatever. You can guess it, right? 50-50 chance. But when you say, oh, he wins this way, I'm like, oh, okay, this guy clearly knows what he's talking about. Even if the fight doesn't exactly go that way, regardless, I always want to hear people's not just predictions, because again, they can get it right, 50-50 chance. I want to hear how they plan or how they think that their fighter is going to win. So I most definitely intend to do that here today. So besides that lengthy intro, sorry for all that yapping, Andrew, what's going on, dude? How was your Thursday evening going?
How's it going, Miguel? We're doing good. Got off work, chilling, waiting for this last day to go by here so we can
Mm.
get in total fight mode. Um, 2 things about yesterday, the Grand Arrival I seen. One, the Fontaine,
Fon- I, I
Fonta.
I I asked one of the cocktail waitresses, like, how do
Oh,
you pronounce it? She goes, Fontainebleau. Okay, Fontainebleau.
Fontainebleau. It's a pretty place, man.
It is. It's
I
nice.
liked it.
It's not that big, but it is nice. It's pretty. I
Oh,
mean, it's not. Of course, it's new. Of course.
it looked big, so it's not that big though.
Well, like, it's kind of hard if you remember what the Monte Carlo was. It's bigger than that, but it's not as big as the MGMs or the New Yorks. I want to
Okay,
say it's a bit smaller, but
okay.
it is super nice. Obviously, everything is nice and new, and the high ceilings and everything, so that looks great. So yeah, it's roomy. It's roomy. It is. Maybe it was just me because they put 2 rings in there. I don't know if you realize that, but there are actually 2 areas where they have rings, where they had the immediate workout was a little cramped. So maybe it was just my misperception, but it was nice. It's super nice.
Yeah, no, I like that, and I also like the turnout. I seen people on the bottom level and the top level. So am I correct when I say that? Was there a good turnout for it so far, the fight?
For the grand arrival, yes. The media workout, there were people up on the second floor, but they got booted. So I think that's like, I don't know if it's rooms over there or conference rooms or something up there. But when I got there, I saw that there were people on the second floor looking down on the ring for that media workout. And I was like, oh, fuck yeah, I'll go up there. Hell yeah, that's a good idea. Before I even went up there, security went and took them all out. So they were
Yeah,
up there for a hot minute. And then as soon as it started, they got them out of there. Because I think that's where the fighters were coming down from, the escalators. So they got them out of there. So there were people up there, and there definitely was for the grand arrivals. Yeah.
nice. Well, feels like a big fight week. It's all over the news. It's getting a lot of play. You're there. That's cool. That's very cool. You get to experience it. Um, you seen Terence Crawford in them yet?
Yes, yeah, I
Yeah.
have. I've seen them. I mean, I'm not a very tall person. I'm average 5'9". I think he's 5'8". He looked tiny, like short wise, and so is Canelo. I'm not saying that Canelo isn't either, but it just maybe I don't know. Maybe I hadn't because I had seen him before when I went to the. I was granted credentials for Steve Nelson and Diego Pacheco earlier this year in January, and Crawford was there. So I saw him plenty of times, and it wasn't like it occurred to me like, oh, this guy's smaller than I thought he was. But maybe compared to everybody else in the crowd, and it was kind of like hard to see him. Maybe that's kind of that might be the reason why. But there was I saw him in person, right? I'm like, all right, he looks ready. Um, I did get a little bit of a vibe from him, like maybe he's a little taken back by the event, like the only fight that comes close to this was probably Spence. The Madrimov one maybe because of the size of the stadium, but not so much like the buzz around it. But I kind of think that maybe he had that a slight deer in the headlight kind of look, like he's like, fuck, there's a lot of fucking people here, and of course they're all booing him, so I'm sure he was eating that up, at least inside. But yeah, I did see Crawford. Were you gonna ask me a specific question about Crawford or what?
Did he look hurt?
Oh, not at all. Not in the
You're
slightest.
not believing the rumor of the injury, the shoulder injury.
I
Why they
don't.
always do that? Why they always do that before these big fights? There's always these rumors that come out. You
Yeah,
know,
that's a good question. It always, I don't know who started it, and I'm hearing people as soon as they hear it, they run with it, right? It's like, oh shit, everybody wants to have that inside
first
scoop. So when
news.
they read it,
Yeah,
it's like, he did not look like that in the slightest. It didn't look like he was, I don't know if he had a backpack or anything like that, but it did not look like he was that at all. So take it for what it's worth, with a grain of salt. But he did not look injured in the slightest. No.
nice, nice.
But it was quite the event. As I mentioned, I did get the odds for it, so I'm not sure. Let's see, where can I start? Because I definitely wanted to take some notes here. Okay, so I did go down to the Fontainebleau. I'm gonna like butcher that the rest of the show. But they don't have the rest of the card. Nobody gives two fucks about the rest of the card, but they do have the main event and the prop bets, right? So they have all of those going on here. So of course, at the very end of the show is where we're going to most likely talk about our specific predictions and give our predictions at the very end. But so stick around for that, of course. And as I mentioned earlier, we want to hear your guys' predictions. Who do you think is going to win? How is it going to go down? Because I'm hearing a lot of stuff. Andrew, you mentioned it right before we went on. I've watched a lot of these Ring Magazine shows. Some of them have predictions from a lot of other people. They had one Ryan Garcia on one of these shows, and when I pulled up that particular, I think it's called like Ringside or Inside the Ring or something like that on the DAZN app. They have a thumbnail of all the fighters that they're talking on that show, along with Max Kellerman. And for whatever reason, they decided to take the worst picture of Ryan Garcia. He looks like he's in the middle of saying something, and his eyes are kind of lazy like this or something, and it just looks terrible. Everybody else is like posing. He looks drunk. I haven't actually heard it, so I don't know if he is, but it's just like, come on, guys. You guys could have done a little bit better on the fucking picture. But you had your reservations about having Ryan Garcia on the show.
Well, I just hope that the Ring Magazine or the Turkey Ali Sheik isn't thinking about bringing him on as a commentator. Seems like he's doing a lot of built up commentating with Max Kellerman. I've seen a lot of these short reels. I don't know if it was just an interview they did,
Mm-hmm.
but I have no interest in hearing Ryan Garcia talk about boxing. First off, we need to make sure this kid isn't a one-hit wonder, right? Just had a left hook growing up through the rankings. As soon as he made it to the big time, couldn't do shit. We need to figure out if he's that guy first, right?
Mhm.
Before we put him in a seat and ask him for his
Yeah,
expert
his
opinion.
professional opinion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
professional opinion. Are you kidding me? He can't even throw a right hand. I mean, the Raleigh Romero fight is a sad thing, dude. He looked very one dimensional that night. So I just, not really a big fan of Ryan right now. I'd rather His Excellency pass on him. Get one of these fighters that actually won a title, actually have done things for the sport. Not embarrass the shit out of us, right? And continues to embarrass. I mean, he kind of said it the other day that he's going to go back to being loose, being the party guy. Because oh yeah, no, it's the only way he could sell a ticket, man. We all seen his relaxed Ryan during the Raleigh Romero fight did not cut it. That attitude that he brought to the ring, it just didn't do it. So yeah, that was all. That was all I wanted to say on that. I hope they're not thinking about a commentating career for him already. Stick to fighting, or at least trying to fight.
Yeah, and to some degree, I don't think he would be down for it. I mean, he wants the big bucks, right? That's not going to give him no big bucks. He's going to want to definitely get in the ring and make the big money that way. Commentating is not going to do it. So I think maybe the fact that he's young and he's got a kid now, or not now, just now, but he's been having a kid. I think he wants the bigger bucks, and that happens in the ring, not outside of the ring. So I don't think he would be too interested in it. I don't think, at least. I could be wrong, but.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I've been hearing predictions left and right from everybody and their mamas. And I know that when the fight was first announced or first proposed, immediately people started to think like, oh shit, I'm already thinking about predictions. And it's probably flip-flopped back and forth countless times between now and then. But we are 48 hours away from the fight in this case, and we might change our prediction one more time. But when we see them hop on the scale, we don't know. But it's crunch time, right? It's down to it. I think all the talking is pretty much done. Today was the final press conference. Oh, and by the way, later on tonight, 8 p.m. on the Zone, there's going to be those fights, right? I don't know if you guys remember, but there's going to be basically 3 nights of fights today, Saturday night, and then Sunday with Inoue. So this on the Zone, Anthony Olasquaga versus Juan Carlos Camacho Rivera. That's going to be on the Zone. So hey, you know what? Watch some fights tonight, because it's kind of a rarity to watch some boxing on Thursday. But hey, you know what? Boxing's on. If you have nothing else to do, if you're at home and starting to wind down, and you happen to have a subscription to the Zone, by all means, tune in. But we are going to start off with these bets that I went to go get. Again, this is from the Fontainebleau, right? Now, I got this sheet on Tuesday when I went for the grand arrivals. Then I went back Wednesday, of course, for the media workout, and it looked like it was the same sheet, like it hadn't changed. However, this was yesterday, so rather not it changed from yesterday, today is another story. But we will start off here. First and foremost, the current odds, according to the sheet here, Terence Crawford coming in at plus 145, while Canelo Alvarez at minus 165. So it's close, yeah, it's no twos in there. It's a little, I guess on the Canelo side, a little bit heavier. It's over $1.50. So on top of that, the 10.5 rounds is the over under. Under is where are we at here? Minus 380. Let me see if I'm reading it right.
Wow.
Am I reading this right? You tell me if I'm reading this right.
I can't see. You better send me a picture, bro.
God damn it.
Say, take a picture of your camera and just send it to me. There you go. It just went away. Okay, Canelo
There's
Alvarez
10.5 rounds.
10.5 plus 315. Yeah, to go over.
Right?
Yeah, total rounds 10.5 is plus 315 to go over, minus 380 to go under. Wow. So they're saying it's not going the distance.
Not going over, well, 10.5, not going over 10.5, right? I mean, it may be 10
That's
and a half.
11. That's
Oh,
1
shit.
minute,
That's
30
like,
seconds of the 11th
yeah.
round, bro.
Yeah. That's literally already the last fucking round. Yeah, so I don't know what they're thinking, but that throws a little bit of a slight monkey wrench in there. I figured with Crawford's most recent fight going the distance, and pretty much every single one of Canelo's like most recent fights going the distance as well, that they would think that this fight too would go the distance, but apparently not. Apparently, it seems as though people thinking they might it'll end before, which is kind of strange, but nonetheless, that's the over under at the 10.5 minute, 10.5 round mark. And then all these odds, good Lord, which one would you like to listen to here, Andrew? I mean, are there specific rounds that you're interested in? Because it's obviously a lot of information, but yeah, I don't know what.
It doesn't matter. Start at the top, work your way down. Just
All right.
I mean, what are we looking at?
So
Do
we'll
the
start.
knockouts first. Yeah, go
All
knockouts.
right. So Terence Crawford by KO, 8-1.
Not bad.
All right. Canelo by KO, 17-5.
Ooh. So you would have to divide 5 into 17, right? I believe that's how you get that answer. Where is my thing at? Dang it, dang.
The calculators. Those always throw me off. Like I'm familiar with the plus and minus but then once I start seeing the
So
2-1s and
it's a
everything,
little over 3-1. It's like 3.5 to 1, basically. Oh yeah, well I guess 15 is 3-1. So 3.4 is what they're giving me on the 17 divided into 5 is 3.4. So you're looking at a little over 3-1 odds. I don't know why they don't just move that to 3-1 or 3.5 to 1. It's kind of weird. 17-5. What the hell is that?
That's what I'm saying. And that's for Canelo in particular, right? So Terence Crawford by decision, 2-1.
So they're telling you something right there, people, right? They're telling us they got this fight not going the distance. They got Terence giving you 8-1. They got Canelo at 3-1. We're gonna round it off. We'll say 3-1. So they're telling us something right there where the bookies are leaning towards.
Yeah. This is what they're suspecting. So Terence Crawford by decision, 2-1. Canelo Alvarez by decision, 6-5. 6-5.
Damn.
So
maybe we.
Tell me what that means. Tell me what that means.
Well, that's 6-5. You're looking at $1 now. I mean, that's not. They got him winning by decision, big time. That's the biggest odd on the board. So why is the over under? Is that a sucker's bet? Are they fucking with people on that over under 10.5 round? You know what I mean? Because you got degenerates out there, bro. They might see that and go, I told you, Canelo's so big, right? Yeah, that's the sign right there. Lay 500 on it. Boom, got him. Decision.
I mean that's a real possibility. I mean I never pay attention to those in particular, how they wins, because it's obviously a little bit more difficult to decide or figure that out. Oh, and by the way, a draw 12-1. That doesn't seem that's kind of close now, or am I tripping? 12-1 for a draw.
No, that's usually what it is. Hey, yeah. I wasn't even thinking higher. I've seen 18-1, and I think Fury versus Wilder was 24-1 on the draw that night. Yeah, they just didn't think it was going to happen. Now this one, they're kind of saying it will.
That's what I'm saying. That's why, like, it seemed a lot closer, because I've seen those, those 25-1s or whatever, right? Some crazy, wacky ass numbers. I mean, even some of the specific odds for like certain rounds have those kinds of numbers. But when I saw 12-1, I was like, hold on. So what are they saying? That there's a much more chance of that happening? I mean, compared to other fights and other odds, 12-1 just seemed a little too close. At least I thought.
It does, but the two fighters. Look, Canelo hasn't had a knockout in a while. We can't look past that, right? We've seen opponents, Miguel, that we thought he was going to knock out, and he didn't knock them out, right? And I think we both said many times on this show we need to just come to the realization that he's not a knockout puncher anymore. He's more of a boxer. He's going 12 rounds. Whether it's his age, his living style, whatever it is. He just doesn't seem to have the knockout in him anymore. So when you look at that, this can very well be a very close fight, right? If Terence is able to box, keep it close. I mean, the draw is on the table, definitely. Two high skilled fighters.
Yeah, keep that in the back of your mind, because it's going to come back in my prediction a little bit later on. Not precisely like this, but just to kind of give you guys a little bit of a teaser there, because of how my prediction is going to come out next time, right? So there's that. All right, so all these other ones, the round ones are fucking crazy. So Terence Crawford in round 1, 90-1. Round 2, 90-1. Round 3, 90-1. Holy hell. Round 4, 80-1. Of course, as it tends to, as the fight kind of approaches the middle rounds, it's a little bit easier. 65-1, 45-1, round 5, 6, 7, 8. And then it ends up being 55-1 at the very end for the round 12. So again, the bookie is kind of giving you some insights, right? It's saying, hey, it looks like if the fight ends in this direction, it'll most likely end here in these particular rounds, because of how many of them are 45-1, basically round 6 through 11. On the Canelo side, it's kind of the same. We're looking at 80-1. Now, here's the thing. Yeah, granted, we know Canelo isn't the power puncher that maybe he once was, and even like specifically when it comes to super middleweight, because I'm looking up his record right now just to kind of remind myself. But besides Caleb Plant and who else? Let's see here. Rocky Fielding. Um, he didn't really hasn't KO'd too many people. Well, I guess Sergey Kovalev, but I mean he's kind of on the way out. That Yildirim dude. Besides that, no, Billy Joe Saunders. Okay, because I was thinking maybe it was like a super middleweight type of thing. Like his pop just doesn't really. I figured his pop maybe is that's what it was. It was just the weight, because we haven't seen him take people out recently, and maybe I just thought maybe it's a super middleweight thing. I don't know, but I figured if the odds, I figured that in this particular case, since Crawford is a smaller dude, quote unquote smaller dude moving up, that maybe Canelo by KO in the early rounds would be something that is more likely to happen if it does happen. But they have him kind of the same thing, 80-1 early on. Round 2, 3, 65-1. It isn't until they get to like round 6 where it starts to get to 25-1, 24-1, and it goes on. 9 and 10 are the closest ones at 20-1, ending at 25-1 in round 12. So those are the rounds that it seems that the bookies anticipate are going to end in that way. And then of course it goes beyond that with like rounds 1, 2, 3 with Terence, round 4 to 5, etc., etc. But are you surprised at all by any of these odds? I mean, even I mean, I don't know. People really, and we'll get to it here shortly, but people really think Terrence has like a really, really good chance for him being. I mean, for the odds to be that close, huh? To 165 minus 165 plus 145, and maybe they've changed since. And I don't know.
Yeah, yes. I'm not surprised about how many people on the inside talking about fighters, trainers that are leaning towards Terence Crawford. Um, they think differently than fans do, right?
Sure.
We're sitting here going, we had to come to the realization that he's not knocking out where behind the scenes they already know that,
Hmm.
right? They're when their trainers talk, they're talking like, hey, you see his last performance? Yeah, it's not looking good. It's just a different language. They've been there, done that. They know when the decline's happening, they see it. We're fans, we're like, man, if he could just bring it back. Like, remember when he knocked out Yildirim? That was 4 fucking years ago, Miguel. It
Yeah.
was 2021, bro. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
You're gonna bring back that, you don't hear people talking about that like in other sports, right? You are who you are lately. And as of lately, Saul Alvarez has been more of a boxer than a puncher. Like I said, there's been a few fights lately. Munguia, Berlanga, Charlo. These were all supposed to be wipeouts, bro.
Hmm.
None of them were white. Well, Berlanga, he dominated, but he didn't stop him. He didn't, it wasn't the same Saul Alvarez we're used to seeing back in the day, right? The power
Hmm.
combos, the relentless body shots, just the sound of his
Hmm.
punches used to be different. So I think, so I'm not surprised that there you see a lot more insiders or people having this fight closer than what it is. I mean, come on, seriously. They're both the same size. Terence has a 3.5 reach advantage. That's huge.
Mhm.
That's huge, especially for a guy that knows how to use his reach, right? Terrence is not just some average Joe off of the street. Um, so it's big. The big unknown is the shot that Terrence is going to have to receive in all of this. That's the unknown here. On paper, it's clear as day what we have in front of us. On paper, but not all the time does the things play out how they're supposed to be on paper, right?
Mhm. Does this help you lean in any one direction to say like, oh shit, okay, that intrigues me, that particular odds, those particular odds intrigue me, I'm gonna go put down money on XYZ, to kind of, I don't know, spice up the fight. It's already spicy as it is, right? We've already talked about it for quite a while, and it's crunch time. But do any of these numbers kind of intrigue you to the point that it'll make you want to place a bet on this fight?
No, I believe they're going to be cautious in the first few rounds. And I think that's why you see the odds are so much higher always in the beginning rounds for these big fights, because
Mm,
it's not going to be until as you just said, crunch time to when these guys start really putting in uh, not desperate effort, but more of an effort to get the win, right? They got to
yeah.
go for it a little bit more, right? So I don't see this thing ending early. I think it's going to be a boxing match. So I would lean, if I had money to throw away, I would be leaning more at the end of the fight to try to pick, rounds. Yeah, I always like going rounds maybe 8 through 12. Yeah, maybe 11, because even the 12th round is very hard. Most of
Yeah.
the time, when both guys get to the 12th round, they're already tipping their hats to each other, right? They've already um, they're satisfied with what the outcome's going to be. Not too many times we get you need this round, this is it, right? In these mega fights. In other fights, yes, that will happen, but in these mega fights, most of the time the chess match is already over by 12. So I would lean away from 12th round, probably go 8 to 11 and pick someone to get TKO, because it can be a TKO, doesn't have to be a
Hmm.
knockout, right?
Hmm. Right, right. Get a guy hurt, get him up against the ropes. The referee has to step in. Kind of one of those sort of things. Definitely very, very possible. Now, um, again,
And
we'll get.
and if you bet the knockout in the 11th round, you get all the way to the 12th. So if you have a situation where your corner just doesn't want to take punishment, you have all the way until the bell rings on the 12th round for them to wave it off for that TKO.
Oh
You'll get
shit!
a
Really?
T,
All right.
you'll get a TKO in the 11th. Yes, sir.
All right. Damn. See, look at that. Look at that. We needed that. I had no fucking clue about that. I mean, again, I don't bet that often, but we have our resident expert here in Andrew. What else do you bet on? Do you bet on horse races, right? What else do you bet on? Do you
Or,
football every so often?
well, I bet on everything when I do my parlay cards.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I do everything, but horse races and football, probably two main ones that I pay attention to in season.
Mm.
Yup.
All right, all right. Well, it's funny. I've never actually done a parlay. Like I've debated it, but I'm like, I'm always so eager to just be like, all right, put money on one thing and just call it a day. And because I don't know, it's just I can only imagine how heart wrenching it is going through like so many of the games, and you're like, fuck, I'm 3 games away or whatever, and then boom, one of them loses. You're like, god damn it. I mean, granted, you don't put that much money to begin with, right? But still, I can only imagine like how heart wrenching that is when you're like so close on
Oh,
that
dude.
parlay, and then fuck, shit sucks.
And it's always the one that you knew you shouldn't have bet, right? You start getting you always get greedy up there, dude, when you're at that
Yeah.
machine, right? You get greedy, you start thinking you know everything, right? And it's the four bets that you knew for sure always hit. Should have just done the four teamer and put $100 on it, right?
Mhm.
But instead, you try to do an 8 teamer or a 10 teamer and put $5 on it.
Right, right, exactly. That's
So
what I'm saying. This is like that. It's much harder for to get one of those, and that always kept me away from it. It swayed me. I always leaned in the direction of just putting it on one fight, calling it a day, and win, lose or draw, whatever. I'll call it a day. But I don't know those parlays. I'm just very hesitant with those. Um, so I'm sure you've already heard about how different the build-up slash promotion and, quite frankly, the managing and running of this particular card has been. Um, I went down, talked to some media people while I was there that recognized me, and I was like, "Hey, man, what's going on?" It's like, "Yeah, it's weird, huh? It's kind of different. It's just not it's not the same folks that normally run it. It's like the UFC people they're fucking running." And I'm like, "Oh shit, that's very very true." So some stuff people like, right, the way things have been running. Others not so much. In particular, one WBC president, Mauricio Suleiman, who had a mild altercation, maybe if you want to call it that, with Dana White. Basically Dana White saying, yeah, you're not getting in that ring. Mauricio Suleiman's like, what do you mean? Suleiman's usually the one there, right? That gives the WBC belt, and I know there's some other WBC belt that they made because they always do it for fights. So I'm sure there's another one that they made for this one with the beads and all that shit. It was spectacular, beautiful. I'm sure it is. But we're talking about the legitimate WBC championship in this one amongst the other titles. But Suleiman didn't like that. He's like, what the fuck you mean? Trying to come in here and run shit. He's like, well, you better have some security there because I will find my way in that ring. All right. So already there's some changes, things that people are not liking. Well, it goes further than that. Let me go ahead and read off some of these um, posts here on Instagram. Apparently, there has been some sort of, how we call it, I guess, rejection of credentials, specifically the media outlet Boxing Scene, who was initially granted credentials and then later denied. So I don't know what exactly happened, but according to this, it looked like it was from the Riyadh season and Turkey side, not necessarily Dana White and TKO. That's what it seems, at least. I'm going to go ahead and read this here. The This writer, his name is, or I guess a journalist, Lance Pugmire, if anybody's familiar with him, has plenty of awards and whatnot. He had his credentials initially, right, for Boxing Scene. It was turned down according to representatives of Dana White's TKO Boxing, who was one of the people who are running it. All right, so it looks like right off the bat that it's TKO and Dana, right? And then afterwards, somebody from Boxing Scene reached out to them to be like, hey, what the fuck's going on? I thought we were approved. Why weren't we? So they got a call back. They got a call back from someone saying, hey, we'll look into it and we'll get back to you. Well, when they got back to him, specifically this representative, UFC vice president of corporate communications, his name is Chris Belletti, if I can pronounce it right, Belletti. He says, and I quote, I don't have specific details, but the denial does not appear to be coming from the TKO side. With an event as complex as this, there are multiple stakeholders involved in it, and they have a say in the credentials, who does or doesn't get in. One of those relationships may be strained, but I don't have the backstory. So the people that responded to, or the gentleman that responded to Boxing Scene basically said, yeah, you might have some beef with somebody. Some relationship might be strained. That might be why you didn't get in there. Sorry. Kind of sucks, but it's a changing of the times. I don't know. I mean, I did see a lot of people that I'm familiar with there. I saw the faces there, and everybody else got it. I don't know what specific beef they have with this particular website, but changes are happening. We can't get Mauricio Suleiman in the ring, and apparently now we're getting some credentials here denied. So things are different for this one. What do you make of all this, Andrew?
I don't make shit of that. I've seen credentials denied before, so I don't make shit of that. People piss people off. They get their thing. I told you, I seen a guy's credential get taken off his neck. He was standing in the room, and Golden Boy walked over and said, "Hand it over and get out." Okay, so oh yeah, dude, homeboy was crying in the lobby his whole week.
What do you know? What it was? Do you know, like, what was the beef or what?
I wrote a bad story.
Oh, jeez.
No, there is no freedom of speech in boxing. There is no freedom of speech. Actually, we found out yesterday might not be freedom of speech even in the country. Right?
Yeah,
rest in peace,
very true.
Charlie Kirk. Very sad. But yeah, Miguel, there is no freedom of speech in boxing. You say something to piss a promoter off, you can get X'd. And they're actually They're actually lucky they got an email during this fight week to
Yeah.
even tell them that. Because, bro, who are you? You're
Mhm.
boxingscene.com. .com? How old is that? .com? Who the fuck goes to website? I'm being dead serious. I'm sorry. Websites are like the newspaper today. Why? When you can go to social media and see the guy say it. You can go to
Mm.
social media and hear his manager's interview. You can hear his dad. You can go to his dad's feet and get it from the horse's fucking mouth. What do you
Mm.
need boxing scene? Boxing scene's reporting that Bill Haney said this. I watched
Too
Bill
late.
Haney say it.
Yeah. Mm.
I'm sorry. The New Times is there really isn't no need for media coverage, especially you .coms. Now maybe the big fish. Oh yeah, the big guys are still going to get in that actually have reach, that actually have pull, but boxingscene.com. Your days are long ago. Those times have passed. Bro, I don't even go to websites.
You know what? That's true. That's actually really true. Holy shit. If it's not Twitter, it's Instagram or Facebook.
Come
Those are
on.
really the only ones because it's immediate. It's like right then and there,
And it's
right? If you don't hear.
podcasts. And then you're
Ah,
on
that's true.
podcasts,
That
bro.
too. Yeah.
You can, you get all this information other ways now. So no, if I all those media guys that are writers, you think people even want to sit down and read anymore? I don't know. I just think that's going away. Right? They want
Mhm.
they want to see it, and it better be less than 2 minutes, or that's even a strain.
That's true. Yeah. You know what's kind of funny? I have this kind of a side story. Everybody knows that I'm a fan of MMA, right? I've been watching it since like damn near the very beginning. And one of the biggest issues that MMA has in the ring, at least, is the eye pokes, the accidental or the finger pokes, right? The fingers in the eyes because of the design of the gloves, and on top of that, the bad habits of the fighters. Anyway, so I'm always wanting to develop new MMA gloves to avoid the finger pokes and all this other stuff, right? I'm always trying to buy gloves and I hack them up and I fold them and do a bunch of this shit, right? I'm like, all right, I'm gonna be the next Reyes, right? The next Grants, but for MMA gloves because I always had this idea. Anyway, so you hear about pitching ideas to people, right? Pitching ideas and all these other things, and when you look into it, it's like make this sell sheet that a 6-year-old can see. If it takes them more than 10 seconds to get the idea, you're fucked. It's like make it bam, bam, bam. So they get like,
Right?
oh shit, this is what it is? Cool, bam. I can only imagine the short span of the majority of Americans now that don't go to a website for really anything. Maybe an interview or something like that that has a link to a video or something. But again, that's just a video. Um, but you need that quick, like, oh shit, besides the obvious headline, but a quick 2-3 paragraphs max. I think that's it. Yeah, that's just it's obvious. That's how it is, right? It's like the short attention span. You can't even have them read no damn 10-minute article. It's not gonna happen.
Writing media was dead the day that the reporters had to go to social media for the soundbite. When you can no longer get that soundbite as breaking news, their jobs are on the line.
Mhm.
Sorry. We go straight to the horse's mouth now. And it even starts with the prospects. You can have a guy get one great fight. The next day he'll have 200,000 followers.
Yeah. The
Boom.
next day, a lot of people know who he is,
Now he's on
even if it's on the zone or something. No, it'll still go to the fucking roof.
through the roof. Yeah. I've seen fighters announce they can't take any more friends, things like that. Like I got to make a new page this one day. Bro, what website are we going to when you have this many people following you? So no, it sucks, but the magazine world went through it too, and
Mm.
now it seems like the .comers are going to be going through it. Now this whole merger with the UFC and TKO and Turkey Ali Sheikh Salam, I believe they're called.
Sella, SC,
Sella, excuse me,
SCLA.
Sella,
Yeah.
good. That's a lot easier to pronounce.
Mhm.
Sella. They took a hit this week. California State Athletic Commission denied the Ali Act
Mhm.
changing, right? And they didn't deny it as it's off the table, but they didn't make an announcement on it. They said they want to go through it more. They don't like the backlash that they've gotten on the inside. trainers, fighters, people behind the scenes that know what the UFC has done to the MMA world and all of those fighters, right? Desperate. Don't want to make boxers desperate when they're making so much money. Yes, not everybody. We all get that, Miguel. And not everyone in football makes a lot of money. Not everyone in baseball makes a lot of money. You understand? So there is always going to be guys that make more than other people. But in boxing, we got Saturday night. We have one guy who's going to make $150 million fucking dollars, Miguel. $150 million
guaranteed.
You think people want to change that? No, you know what? I would rather the undercard get more money. Takes them away from me.
Right. It's like, no, I don't need all that. I don't need all that. I'm making good money with my cocktail drink. I don't need all this. You know, I got gas stations and cell phone towers that I'm invested in. So I don't need all this extra money.
So they took a hit. Dana White still looks funny. You know, I like the rumor going around about Dana White. Have you guys noticed every time this dude has a picture with His Excellency, anytime they're together, his hands are like this. His hands are on the phone. His hands are in his pocket. They're saying he's trying to avoid the hand holding, dude.
Dana's? Oh, shit.
Dana
No, I haven't noticed
no part of Turkey going, come on, let's take a walk. I want to talk to you about some things. Hold my hand.
It's like, do you want your $10 million a year for your TKO? Then you hold my fucking hand. You hold my fucking hand.
Exactly, bro. But yeah, hey, because that's why I sent you that picture. Dana looked like a girl on prom night, bro. When they were at the Bellagio, when they're on the water, he looks so giddy, dude. He's like his hands are all like he ain't never been in this environment. He's as giddy as Terence Crawford. Sorry, they just ain't that big. It really isn't. They've got a lot of anticipated. They like saying it a lot, but you could tell Dana's face. Dana knows. Now, this is my second big hit that they took this week, and His Excellency really needs to look into it. The rumor about Dana White being $25 million in debt, Miguel. If this rumor is true, are you sure you want this man being the leader of your new company that you're trying to bring out? Because I got to tell you, the rumors of the UFC weren't good before the $7.7 billion signing. Did you ever see him sue Oscar De La Hoya for defaming his name or defamation of his name when he said they were going bankrupt for numerous weeks? Did you even hear Dana White come out and say, motherfucker, you say that one more time, I'm going to have my lawyers on you? Hell no, he didn't.
Nope, not a peep. He didn't even address it.
So that times UFC might be in trouble. Now you look at the I can't call him the leader. What, CEO? Is that what he is of the UFC? What is he of the UFC?
Technically, I mean, last I remember, he was the president of the UFC. Whether or not it's gone any higher after, you know.
No, let's stop with president. That's fine right there. That's a big title. President's pretty big. The company's in debt. The president's in debt. And now you just want to give him $10 more million to run a new company? It's usually not how it goes. Now I know he got the 7.7 billion, but the fighters got that, right? The UFC, it's their back that got
the UFC, that. Rather the fighters themselves got as another story that they won't.
No, but it was from their work, is what I'm trying to say.
Right. I gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, from their work. So if I'm at His Excellency, I'm really looking at Dana White this week about how much further you want to go with him. They've got to look at that 25 million, Miguel. Million? When does your brain tell you to stop, dude? You are an addict. You have an addiction to gambling, and that's not a good trait to have when you're running a fucking company. I don't know. It wasn't a good look this week. And so we will see what happens with how much involvement they're actually going to get into boxing. I can tell you there was a lot of cheering going on when the Ali Act did not get reformed. Now you hear about his gambling issues. You see a lot of people taking swings at him on that. Don't know if he's the right guy. His show, this TKO thing, whatever goes on this week, hope it's a banger. I hope it's a bang. Don't be a snoozer.
Yeah. And based off of that undercard, I mean, no knock on the fighters on the undercard, but there maybe one, two, three max fights that are going to be like, oh shit, these are going to be bangers. The rest, not so much. I
Right.
mean, that's not how it is anyway. But I mean, just saying, if they're in this dire need for this to be a success, on top of being on Netflix and everything, yeah, they kind of need to really hit it out the park with this one.
He should have brought someone from the UFC over because they fight cheap. They'll do it. It's an extra check for them, and it would have gave them the eyeballs. I don't, because I'm not even thinking those guys on the undercard of Saturday have nothing to do with TKO. Those are all current fighters, right? McBeal. Do you think he signed with TKO?
No. I mean, they're on the card. It's Riyadh season stuff. It's
yeah.
I don't, they're not really with TKO per se. I think they're just on the card.
Okay. Yeah, and I knew that card was going to be bad because Netflix and what we had to pay. I'm so stupid. What Riyadh had to pay the two guy, right? 200 million guaranteed. I think the fight purses.
Mhm.
That's not even counting the undercard. I know it's not expensive, but it's still adding to a $200 million fucking hole that they've already created.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't really have a lot of options. That's why I think Dana should have probably worked his magic with some of his guys over at the UFC to say, hey, who's interested, if anyone, want to come over and maybe help me watch this shit. It's going to be bad if the UFC doesn't turn up. Because to be honest with you, I don't expect the boxing world to turn up to watch it. They're all no names. We have the fight we want to watch, right? And boxing, Miguel, you know this. We don't really give a shit about the undercard anymore because we've been ripped off so many times, right? There's a difference in fan bases, man. We rely on the main event to give us our $80 worth of entertainment. That's how boxing's been since the 90s, right? Maybe early 90s, you still had Don King putting on the great fight cards, but it's ever since Bob Arum Top Rank took over. No, all those De La Hoya cards, all those Floyd Mayweather cards, Pacquiao card. There was no fucking undercard. You know what I'm saying? There was always just the main event. You got Christy fucking Martin and Butterbean as the two fights that come after them. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's been a while. So I don't expect the boxing world to be like, dude, totally got to tune in to Saturday, the fucking TKO card. So he better hope his MMA fans show up and support him, because if they don't, not going to have good views. I believe it won't have good views. They're going to see TKO have nothing, and then the main event go to 50 million households.
Yeah. No, that I was actually, I mean, I've been watching a whole bunch of content, right, from other content creators. I think what did that was it 60 million or whatever that Tyson and Paul got?
40, I think it was 48, 47. I'm going to say 47 million.
And many people are predicting that it won't reach that. Do you think it'll reach that? Like maybe like by the time the main event, because the way they try to categorize it is like actively everybody watching, not like tuning in, then tunes out, then watches it later, and then turns it off and turns it back on, but like actively watching at the same time simultaneously. Do you think it'll reach that 40 or 50 or whatever?
I want to say yes, bro, because the same people that watched the Tyson Jake Paul fight should be interested in Canelo Crawford for free. This is not pay-per-view, right? See, that makes it a little bit more interesting. Like, you know what? I'm not even doing anything Saturday. I'll watch that shit. It's on free. Yeah, I'll make dinner, barbecue something. I'll watch fight at my house. So I think it should. I hope it does. I don't want Jake Paul to have the most views in boxing, bro.
I know, dude. I know. Trust me. I mean, it's a damn shame. And I thought about that when I heard it on the other content creators. I'm like, fuck, no way. Please don't tell me that it's gonna be Jake who has like this many views. I would hope that it ends up, I mean, hell, maybe down the line we get Jake Paul and Canelo. Fuck, I don't know. And then that does 100 million or some crazy shit like that. But nonetheless, let's hope that this one surpasses Tyson.
The only thing we got going for us is that Mike did 40 million homes when he fought on Fox. That's the only thing I could throw at Jake Paul. Like, It was Mike, bitch. Shut up.
Yeah, wasn't really you, homie.
Yeah, it was the
Uh,
knee brace, you
yeah,
fuck.
check your pay-per-view buys too, because I don't think if that isn't enough of an indication. All right, well, that takes us to our official predictions. We talked about the bets. We talked about the usually unusual happenings around. Maybe not so unusual according to Andrew. We get people rejected all the fucking time, so it was not so unusual. I thought it was a little off, but regardless, we have reached our official predictions. Now, again, as always, I do like to not just explain my prediction or give my prediction, but also tell people how. But I was kind of leaning towards one or the other. Before I go into my spiel, I would like to hear Andrew give his, because he kind of gave a little bit of a prediction over the course of the last few weeks, so kind of sort of about what we think might happen, not necessarily the outcome per se, but how the fight will look, and that kind of maybe gave me a different perspective and kind of gave me an idea on how my prediction would go. So I'm going to give the floor to you, Andrew. Go ahead, give us your prediction. Give us as much detail as you would like. Of course, first and foremost, right, the prediction, but we can wait that to the end. But my point is, just give us how you think it's going to go down, who's going to come out on top.
Well, I've been kind of torn on this fight because there's a lot of unknown, right?
Yeah,
with the weight divisions and what Terence is going to look like even tomorrow on the scale. That might change my prediction, but we'll go as of right now tonight. I believe on paper, Terence Crawford is a better fighter. I think he has a better resume than Saul Alvarez. Saul's been doing a lot of that.
Better
chirping.
resume, really?
Yes, Saul's been doing the chirping of who have you fought.
Yeah,
bro. Saul Alvarez has like 3 losses on his career. Like, stop fucking around. Like, let's stop playing here. Let's be real about the Austin Trout fight, the Lara fight, the fucking Gennady Golovkin.
The first Triple G fight.
Yes. Let's be real about these fights. So he can sit up there and say how his resume is better than Terence Crawford, but a historian knows that a few of those fights, so you might have had a little Oscar persuasion behind you, right? Few of them, and that's not to say that you laid an egg in the biggest fight of your career, right? The one that you wanted. Oscar didn't force him to take that fight.
No, you don't think?
No. Miguel, he didn't force him to try to out jab fucking Floyd Mayweather. He didn't force him to try to outbox fucking Floyd Mayweather, bro. At 23, you think you're going to get in the ring and outbox Floyd Mayweather? That's a loss. And that's exactly what it was. A big L. No, I don't think Oscar forced him to do that. I think him and fucking Reynoso were like, dude, we're the best boxers in Mexico. No one can fuck with us. We're going to go over there and show them we can box. He was wearing the Muhammad Ali shirt. You don't remember that? I was like, Where's your Chavez? Where's his Chavez shirt? Why the fuck does he have Muhammad Ali on? You better go in there and fight. He went in there and boxed and got outboxed. So anyways, he lost the biggest fight of his career. So I'm going to say stop it with your resume just hella trumps him. You might have made more money than Terence Crawford.
Might have had some more recognizable names, but
Terence Crawford has went through how many divisions? How many knockouts in a row? How many guys ran from this man? Remember, it wasn't David Benavidez running from Saul. Right?
Right.
It wasn't Terence saying he was on the wrong side of the street. There was a whole fucking division saying that about him. And then when he got his hands on him, what happened? Knockouts for everybody, especially the Porter one that I love the most. I'm behind the cards.
Yeah.
I'm going to knock him out. I'm going to knock him out. And then goes out there in like 15 seconds, has him on the ground, bro. Dude's a bad man. Right? So on paper, I think Terence Crawford's better. So now I got to look at the weight division. Now I need to get to can he move up this many weight divisions and take the punch. The only thing that I can tell you, Miguel, is that I believe Terence Crawford, just like Saul Alvarez, has fought in heavyweights and cruiserweights and all these guys in sparring and training just throughout their life, right? Comes into the gym, thinks he's hard. You spar him, you handle him, you get on with their day. I think Terence has fought in big dudes before. I think he's very well capable of knowing that his chin can take a shot of a bigger fighter. And so he's not as nervous about, oh no, Saul's the first guy who's ever been big and he's going to punch me. Second, I know Bomac. Yeah, I'm probably on third, second. I know
Next.
Bomac. Yeah, next. I know Bomac and Terence have watched his last 7-8 fights over and over and over again. Bro, it's not there. It's not there. It's 12 rounds. It's boxing. Right? There's guys that are not as athletic as Terence Crawford going 12 rounds with this man. We are 30. Yeah, would you say we are 48 hours, right? From
fight time.
Yeah, questioning everything about Saul Alvarez's last 8 years. I would have to look up his record, but bro, I'm going to tell you right now, he loses this fight, there's so much in jeopardy about his legacy because Miguel, they're not going to be nice. Once you start taking all these defeats and you start saying, oh, well, he was better than Chavez, it's going to be like, hold the fuck on. Hold the front door. This dude's been losing his whole career. And that's when the guys that have been proclaiming Lara beat him, proclaiming Trout beat him, proclaiming that Triple G beat him the first time. That's when they're all going to come out of the wood and go, dude, add some of those losses onto the 3 or 4 that he already has, and what do we got? We got a whole career of losing. It's in real jeopardy Saturday night. He cannot take a defeat to Terence Crawford. But I don't know if Saul Alvarez has the fire anymore, dude. Now, look, I've told you guys this numerous times about the decision thing, and I've been right every time. He's going 12, and he's always going 12, right? So then I say, all right, let me watch his interviews. Let me see what he's saying, right? What do we get? Hey, Saul, how long have you wanted this fight? I didn't want this fight. Terence wanted this fight. I don't want this fucking fight. I didn't even think about this guy. Who have you beaten? Well, that's not fire.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's not motivation.
Hey, how long has he been on your radar? Nah, radar. Never on my radar. I never thought about fighting him. Like, he has said some things, bro, that made me like, bro, so you really just signed because they added the zeros. And Miguel, when you look at it like that way, this is going to be a 12-round fight, you guys. And when I look at a 12-round fight, I'm going to go with the guy that I believe is better on paper, skill-wise. So I'm going to go with the 12-round unanimous decision. And I got to say, AI backed me. AI backed me this morning. I don't know if anyone's seen. I loved it, Miguel, when I seen it. I said, I'm with you, AI. No, but AI called it today. 12-round decision, unanimous. For one, Terence Bud Crawford. Maybe all the slacking Canelo's been doing lately, he's just living the life, bro. He's just living. It was like when De La Hoya, he's in the silk pajamas. Dude, have you seen Saul lately? He kind of gets off a plane in silk pajamas the last 10 fucking years, bro.
I have seen this in his nice Dolce & Gabbana silk pajamas. I've seen those, yeah.
It's a tough call for me to do. Because of the weight advantage, I hate it, but I have to go with my gut. I went with my gut so many times with Saul saying that the raise in power, I don't know, maybe the something happened to his power, bro. So we can't rely so much on the power anymore. It's a boxing match. Terence got southpaw. He's got right hand. He's got inside, outside. Got a lot of ways to bring this fight to Saul. It's going to be a hell of a fight. My money's on 12 rounds, unanimous decision for Terence Crawford.
Ooh, all right. That's a good one. All right. That's kind of funny. I've heard, even though the odds or the bookies, right, have Canelo as the favorite, the overwhelming majority of people that I hear is going for, or thinking that Crawford is going to win. They predict that he's going to win. I've heard that more. I mean, like I can think right offhand, Gabe Rosado saying that Canelo's winning, but everybody else that I can remember, I mean, I'm sure there are some people out there, but they're just not coming to mind. But Timothy Bradley, who else? Fucking, I think Garcia, Ryan, and
Tarver had him winning. Yeah, Tarver.
Tarver, yeah, Teddy Atlas. Like I'm hearing a lot of
Yep.
people. It's just like it's crazy that these many people think he's going to come out with the win, but the odds still have Canelo as the favorite. I mean, he's the cash cow, I suppose, right? So,
Sometimes it's about the betting.
oh,
They
okay.
want to bring the betting up they want to try to keep it to where the house isn't going to lose a lot.
Yeah.
So they might lower the odds of the guy that's not doing as good betting wise, even though they think he's going to win, just so more people will put money on him. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it doesn't get overfilled with the Canelo, just all the money being laid on Canelo. That's what I hear. Sometimes it doesn't matter who Vegas thinks is going to win or lose. It's about the house and that the betting. So Terence might be a plus. I mean, you might have seen those odds switch. If both of them were straight up had the same amount of fans laying money on each other, Vegas might have switched those odds and had Canelo at plus 145 and him at 160 minus 165. That's really not a hard bet. That's really, I mean, come on, that's about as close as you can get. You know what I'm saying? When you're talking about betting, gambling, and fighting. I mean, fuck, Floyd used to be what? Plus 1200, plus
Yeah,
750, or yeah, minus, sorry.
Yeah.
Minus 750, minus 1200. So these odds, I mean, these are a rich man's dream, to be honest with you, because this is when the guys that really lay money down are really going to lay money down because they're going to make a lot of money back if they think their guy's a guarantee. They're not spending a lot to make it back. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The minus 165 to make $100, that ain't shit to a guy that goes, no, Canelo's for sure going to win this, bro. Give me 10 racks on him. You know what I mean? So it's for them. For us degenerates, us little guys that only had a few $100 to put on,
Us peasants,
these odds suck, Miguel.
as peons. Oh man.
$5 parlay for me. Fuck
Yeah,
out of
they're
here.
at like $6.50. Here we go. Now $6.50. I mean, and I know $650.
I'm gonna bet on the whole card. I'm gonna bet on the TKO card.
I know. And it's like, here you go, 50 cents on this guy. No. All right. So you guys heard it, right? Terence Crawford by unanimous decision is going to go the full 12 rounds. Not going to be able to stop Canelo. You've seen Canelo's fucking neck, right? So, we talked about it before. Okay. So that kind of leads into my prediction here. On that note, we have one of the people that I've heard talk about it. I mentioned it on the show a couple of weeks back when Jim Lampley was on the Joe Rogan podcast. Lampley himself at a earlier time asked Larry Merchant, does Terence Crawford have a chance here? And Larry Merchant said, well, if Sugar Ray Leonard, beat Hagler, sure, he's got it, right? And when I brought it up then, Andrew, you were like, Terence doesn't fight like that, though. He doesn't box like that. He doesn't do that kind of thing. He's the kind of guy who's been able to walk people down. He's the one that's coming forward. Presumably, he's the smaller guy, right? Naturally, it's because he's moving up in weight here. So that's kind of one of the big things that's about this fight. If Terence decides, I'm not going to box this dude. I mean, I'll box him, but on the inside and close, maybe try to walk him down. Like we even said it then, there are those mid rounds where Canelo tends to rest, right? And maybe Terence thinks he can take advantage of that. Well, normally when the smaller guy fights the bigger guy and the smaller guy wins, he does it by boxing, right? He has to do it, because if he doesn't, what happens? If Crawford comes in here and tries to walk Canelo down, you're going to move back the, presumably naturally bigger dude. Probably not. You're gonna end up butting heads. It's gonna be a collision course. And who does that favor? Well, Canelo. How did Evander Holyfield beat Foreman? How did Manny beat Margarito and Usyk and Fury? They had to box him. But is that what he's gonna do? Is that what Terence Crawford is gonna do? That's kind of the question. And I don't think he's going to do that. I think maybe it's his ego, maybe it's something else. But I think he thinks he can stop Canelo. I think he thinks he can walk that motherfucker down. I don't think he can. I think he's going to try to, but I don't think he can. Now, we've seen the majority of the people that are going for Crawford are basing it off of what he can do, right? Like you said, on paper, what he's been able to do at lightweight, super lightweight, welterweight, etc. I mean, after his last fight with Madrimov was the last time or before that, I think the only other time or the last time he had a decision was against Postal, which was like 2016. After that, he fought a few more times at 140, knocking people out. He stopped every single one of his welterweight opponents. Every single one. His whole welterweight run was him stopping people because he was able to walk him down. He was able to beat the shit out of him, right? I don't think he's gonna be able to do that against Canelo. I think he will try. I don't think he's gonna. One thing we haven't really talked about too much is what direction or what the stance he's gonna use, because most recently in his Madrimov fight, he came out orthodox right off the bat, and then within seconds he switched to southpaw. So we don't know which one he's going to go. Right, I certainly hope that Canelo is ready for a southpaw or switching back and forth. So I think Crawford is going to try to walk him down. Now, a bit of a side story here. I know that people are basing it off of this, right? They're thinking that he can do this, but he had to have sacrificed something. We're thinking he's going to be able to do the same thing he did at welterweight that he can do here at super middleweight. He's not going to be equally as fast and still stronger. He's not going to be equally as fast and still powerful. If he gained muscle mass, if he gained it, he's going to have to sacrifice speed. He has to. That's just physics. There's no way he can't sacrifice something. You move up in weight, maybe you don't have the power anymore. Maybe you can, and mind you, and even Crawford himself, when Max Kellerman was, I think during the press conferences, was saying, Madrimov was your toughest fight to date, kind of checked Max. He was like, what the fuck you mean? It was the unanimous decision for what the fuck, right? And Max was like, well, I mean, you went the decision, bro. I mean, you've been knocking people out, and the first time that you move up to 154, is it because Madrimov was so elite that you went to 12 rounds? No. Was it in Saudi Arabia? No, it was in Los Angeles. You weren't jet lagged. What else could it have been? It had to have been the weight. It had to have been the weight, right? And it's the first time you fought there. So I have to assume that weight will affect him. Maybe he's stronger. Maybe he is. But his speed is not going to be there anymore. He's going to have to sacrifice one or the other. There's no way he's going to keep all the speed and agility, move up these many weight classes, and add on the power and everything on top of that. I don't think so. So, onto my side story here. Back in the day, I'm talking about early 90s, my pops, obviously watch his fights back then as he does now. He had a bet. A coworker of him wanted him to bet on the Chavez-Taylor 1 fight. My dad was like, well, he's a Chavez fan, right? So he's like, well, let's see this. His coworker wanted to bet that Taylor wins. Like, dude, Taylor, boom, $100 right here, homie. And my dad knows Malcolm Taylor's like, fuck, I don't know, man. That's gonna be rough. I don't know if I wanna, This dude kept nagging at my pops. Like, hey, $100, boom. You got Chavez, I got Taylor, $100, homie. So my dad was like, nah, look, I'll tell you what. I'll bet you the $100, but I'll bet you that at some point in that fight, Malger Taylor hits the canvas. Whether or not Chavez wins or not, I can't say, because Malger Taylor's a bad motherfucker. I'm not going to go that route, but I can tell you that Chavez will drop Taylor at some point. Ultimately, we find out what happened right in the 12th round. Taylor goes down, and then turns out that Chavez wins in that controversial fashion, of course. But bottom line is, my dad shows up to work on Monday. It's like, give me my fucking money. He fell. But, the decision, kiss my ass on the decision. I don't care. It just turned out that Chavez did win anyway, but he fell. Considering, I think that Crawford is going to try to walk down Canelo. I don't think he's going to be able to do that. I think he's going to collide with Canelo, and that's going to favor Canelo. Granted, we talked about it. Canelo has not finished anybody in quite a while, but he has dropped him. Dropped Munguia, dropped Berlanga, dropped Charlo. I think at some point in this fight, I'm going to follow my pop's footsteps. I think Canelo's going to drop Crawford. He won't finish him. I don't think he'll finish him. I think Crawford will get up, survive the round, and ultimately finish the full 12 rounds. That knockdown is going to give the decision to Canelo. I think Canelo is going to end up coming away with the decision with a knockdown. At some point, he is going to drop Crawford. It won't be a stunning knockdown, but he'll crack him, he'll rock him, and he'll probably drop to a knee or something. It's like, oh shit, we never seen him. I think that's going to happen. Now, I think it's going to be a decision, but it won't be a unanimous decision. You know how these things are. I'm damn near positive we're going to get a majority decision. I think one judge is going to have it 114 114. And that's with the knockdown. So that judge probably has, Crawford ahead and evened it out with the knockdown. The other two will give it to Canelo. It will probably be 115 113 on a far stretch, 116 112, but I don't think so. I think both the judges will go 115 113 with that one judge going in that direction. I think that's if I'm calculating it right, because my points are always off, right? Or it could be 112 or whatever with the knockdown, right? So I think two of those judges were going to give it to Canelo. It's going to end up being a majority decision. I think he will not only win a decision, because again, he dropped Charlo, he dropped those guys. Granted, he didn't finish them, but he dropped these guys. He wasn't able I guess, seal the deal. I think he could do the same with Crawford, especially with the smaller dude coming up. Crawford has to sacrifice something. He had to have, I should say. There's no way he's going to keep all that speed and agility, move up with all the power, and still keep all that. Like, no, he's going to have to give something up for that. That's usually how it is. The faster guys generally don't have the kind of pop, and the guys who have pop are usually a little slower. So that's the direction that I'm going to go. I'm going to say Canelo, 12 rounds, majority decision.
Not bad. I like that. That was a good one, Miguel. One thing I want to kill here is it's not even a rumor, but like the theory that's going around that Crawford's doing this for money. He left a lot of money on the table walking away from the junior middleweight and welterweight division. He's talked nothing about retiring, right? And as a matter of fact, seems like Turkey and him came to an agreement the other day that he would continue to fight. The Ryan Garcia fight, Devin Haney fight, Manny Pacquiao fight, Virgil Ortiz fight. There was a shit ton of fights that would make him 50 million total. Not saying in one night.
Not in one night, yeah. But this is one
But
night.
if he wanted to do like a murderous row, do you really think Terence would have had a problem getting rid of Devin fucking Haney, Raleigh Romero, or Ryan Garcia?
Well, no, not at welter, but if he moved up to 154, I mean,
I'm saying at
welter.
Yeah, I'm saying at welterweight, because he only
he wouldn't have a problem. Yeah,
he wouldn't have no problem, bro.
No,
and those would have all been main events. Those all would have been 10, 12 million dollars. The Ryan Garcia is a sellout. That's a sellout fight if they would have if they would have done it before Raleigh.
Right.
You hear what I'm saying though?
Or Manny, for that matter, right?
Manny's a sellout fight. Like, bro, he didn't have. It's not like he was pushing pennies at the welterweight. Him and Bomac seen something. They've been watching this guy. They've been seeing the decisions. They've been seeing the Ryder going 12 rounds in Mexico and having the crowd fucking basically cheering for him at the end there. They seen something, and they know they can reach greatness. This fight, 3-time undisputed, going. They're gonna say 2. I'm gonna say 3 divisions.
Yeah, 3 really.
To take out one of the best in the world. It's a big leap for them. I think they seen something though. They know something we don't. They'll release it. You'll see it on social media. They'll be in the gym talking about some fucking flaw that will all go, oh shit. I hate that. I love it. I love it and hate it at the same time. I hate when it's blind. It's right in front of you, and then you'll see even the Manny Pacquiao knockout that Marquez did. Right? They were practicing the shot. They literally have it on video.
Yeah, he even landed it earlier in the 5th round. That same fucking punch.
Gervonta Davis on the left took a Ryan Garcia. Hella exposed. You know what I mean? When they get exposed, I guess is what you're saying. I'm just wondering what Bomac and Terence have up their sleeve. What they were going to expose on Saturday night. What did they see? Could be something simple. But
you think it's if they do see something that they can expose, it's not the decline, because I mean that kind of diminishes a little bit. It's like, all right, well, yeah, Canelo's on the way down now, right? He's not the same, yada yada. It's like, all right, is that really how we're gonna look at this? It's like, well, he's not the same, so he's a sitting duck, and that's why Crawford came in. It's like, no, we want to make Canelo as fucking great as possible. So if Crawford comes and whoops his ass, that'll make Crawford look great. We don't want to say that it's that specifically. It has to be a tactic or tactical something going on with Canelo's game plan or strategy that Crawford and Bromack can dissect.
Life sometimes, Miguel, is about timing. I think you've heard me say this on this show many times. The timing is just right for them to step up and take on Canelo. And if he has a flaw, then he has a flaw. But
but that's what they would be going after. No, like it's not like they're attacking.
The flaw might have been there since Lara. Remember,
okay.
We've had many close fights where people have argued that Canelo is nowhere near being undefeated, right? Dude, who just called him the most overrated Mexican champion of all time?
Paul Malignaggi called him.
Oh, was it him?
Well, I heard him say it. But maybe somebody said it. Maybe I heard a few other people.
That guy says everything.
I heard Paulie. Yeah, I heard him say it recently.
I thought it was someone with a little bit more clout. No knock to Paulie, but I just thought it was like another legend. You know what I mean?
Well, it may have been because for all I know, he said it too. Because I know I heard Paulie specifically, but maybe you did hear it from someone else.
Yeah. So there's a lot riding on this fight for Saul. There really is, because after Golden Boy, his record gets really thin on actual threats, right? Yes, he's moving up and taking on the bigger guys, but come on, all those DAZN fights were garbage, absolute trash. Then he goes to the PBC and gives us more trash, doesn't give us the fight that we wanted, right? It's 10 years, dude. He fought Triple G in 2016, bro.
Oh, the second time, yeah.
Yeah, the second time.
Was that the last time he was with
I think so. When you start looking at the opponents, it looks like it switches. Because remember, or you know what? They might have been there for the first part of DAZN. No, they were there for the first because he got him the contract.
Yeah.
Right. So he does get him into DAZN. But once Eddie gets in there, and Eddie probably sold Oscar on the fucking, I have 17 guys I can fight you guys with. And they were like, man, that's easy money. Let's go. Line them up. Right? But the resume really gets thin. Billy Joe Saunders was never proven. Fielding, come on. Are you no, Caleb Plant, cool, but has taken some losses since. He hasn't really flourished or, turned into some legend, Charlos are all whack. They're fucking busts, Berlanga's a bust. Berlanga actually looked worse in his very next fight.
Yeah,
looked worse than when he fought Canelo, bro. I don't know what that means. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, no, it's gonna be interesting. Look, they all go through it, dude. He's been fighting since he was 15 years old, and he's made a lot of money. Did you guys see his house?
Yeah.
Did you see the stable that he owns? The horses that he owns? Those horses are $250,000 easy, bro. Easy that horse is to maintain, to buy, to purchase, all of that. No, the guy's, he will fight Terence Crawford. Maybe the punch lands, maybe it doesn't. I think that's what, and after that, he can do whatever he wants, really. He can go fight Jake Paul. He can try to make a comeback.
Well, that's actually my question. I have one more live question for you. I haven't heard of any sort of rematch clause, but in the event that this ends up being a close fight, do you think we're seeing a rematch or even a fucking trilogy out of this? I mean, maybe a trilogy is kind of pushing it and looking too far ahead, but do you think we might be able to, or I guess TKO or Riyadh season, whatever, Turkey will be able to milk a rematch out of this?
Yes, if the two things need to happen. If it's sold out at Allegiant Stadium, Vegas does extremely well, right? Vegas putting a lot of money on this. And if the Netflix does extremely well. And why I say that is because there's enough money, $200 million guaranteed. If they make money off of the $200 million debt, they can definitely come back for a rematch, because they're just going to, if Canelo loses, right? Because if he wins, there is no rematch, right? So if he loses, there's money to take from him. They'll be like, all right, hey, Canelo, you're not going to make 150, but what if we give you 125? We give $75 million to Terence. Then will you do it? Fuck yeah, he's gonna do it. It's another $125 million he's gonna bank. So there's room to wiggle, right? Because you could take from Canelo and give to Terence. You know, Terence is in
Yeah.
75 mil.
Yeah.
That boy's signing all over again. So
Yep.
yes, I absolutely believe there's room for a rematch if it is a good, entertaining fight.
All right. All right. Just I guess maybe just one more quick one here. Who do you think? If we're looking at it, we're looking at it with as much integrity of the sport as possible. But we know that every so often things happen outside of the ring that we don't really pay attention to. The meetings that happen in the fucking meeting rooms and things that happen on the table, kind of thing. Who do you think Vegas or boxing wants to win? Like, who do you think would benefit the most? Because again, Crawford is the older fighter, but fewer miles. Canelo is still the cash cow, but more miles on the odometer on the way out. 2 more fights, according to him. Who do you think would or how? No, not who or how would want this fight to end up in, with a Crawford winning the fight or Canelo winning the fight? Who would benefit from this? I guess what I'm trying to say, like, if there's some sort of sneaky shit going on, who will ultimately come out on top?
I hear you. It's a good question. I don't really know who's in the lead on that one. And the reason why I say that is because Terence does seem fresher, at least as the fire still burning for Crawford to make money. He's not Canelo's money. He's not Floyd's money. You know what I mean? He's still climbing. So he might still be telling these guys behind closed doors. There might be a whole list of opponents he has if he wins, right? He might be telling them, then we can do this, I'll do that. Where, Alvarez is always kind of seems like he's always on this one fight. Then I gotta see what's gonna happen kind of deal, right? So you would say it's gonna be Terence, but he is older. So we'll bring, we got to see what the fans look like this weekend, bro. But if Mexico shows up, the Mexican fan base shows up, I mean, that'll at least make Vegas think twice about giving Terence a decision if it's close. They're going to want to bring back Canelo. But I got to tell you, I don't even know how much Vegas is involved in all of this anymore. This might be strictly His Excellency and Rihad running the judging on this. Las Vegas isn't as tight with boxing as it once was. Where I think before, yes, Vegas was extremely involved in Manny Pacquiao's career and Floyd's career because they moved the needle. When these guys got in the ring, people showed up. I mean, 20, 30,000 showed up to watch these guys fight on a weekend in Vegas. Manny Pacquiao, I think the gambling went up 16, 20% or something that way when he would fight. That's how many Asians would come and lay down money. Those guys gamble. Vegas loves that. So they're like, anything close you give to him, fuck out of here. But boxing's been so detached as of lately from the city. I don't know how much they're involved really in it, and then the Fontainebleau, who's running the show there? Is he really a boxing guy, or was he just like, I don't know, I'm just hoping this event brings people to this fucking casino? You know what I mean? We're fucking dead in the water here. We're shooting a desperate Hail Mary shot. So I don't know what his ties are in the boxing. You know what I mean? If he's just a casual, or if he's from the MGM Grand, the other hotels at Mandalay Bay that used to throw him back in the days. And he's like, no, I can get us 10,000 in this casino if you let me get boxing. Then he might be more interested in who wins the fight, right? And try to get him back. So I think that has a lot to do with it. If I'm Canelo, I'm more worried about the motherfucker going behind Terence and going, "You're down to 2 rounds." We got to be more worried about that guy.
Remember, no retirement, Crawford.
Yeah, exactly.
Remember, judges. Steve Weisfeld, no retirement. That shit. Like,
hey, you sound like him. Very good, bro. That's a good turkey right there.
I can
no retirement. That's hella funny.
Oh Lord. All right. Well, that wraps it up, yo. That is our official prediction. One more time before we call it a show. Andrew has it unanimous decision for Crawford. I got it majority decision for Canelo with a knockdown. He will drop him.
I like the knockdown. I like the fucking draw. You get a good one there. One
that
judge will
one's
have it a draw. No shit.
yeah. Then
114, 114.
yeah, the other one will have it 115, 112, whatever with the knockdown, I think. They're going that direction. But that is our official prediction video. One more time, guys, we are 5 subscribers away from hitting that magical 100. So by all means, tell your friends and all that good shit. I was handing out fucking business cards at these things. And make sure to tune in for Friday, because Friday I'm going to get some sort of footage of the weigh-in, have maybe even some pictures, but make sure to keep your eye out on our YouTube channel because I'll have something for you guys there. So until then, for my co-host Andrew, don't get it twisted, Lapache, I am Miguel Antonio Barragan, aka Fight Fiend Migs. This has been Mad Boxing Show. We will see you guys on Sunday after the fight to talk about the aftermath. We'll see you guys there. Peace.